5th position there. Oh, bang on the inside. That's Max Günther. Safety car and a car pile up here as well. Contact into turn 5.
Let's hope that everybody can just reset if necessary. We're getting ready then for the race to start. Lights out! Formula E is go with four-wheel drive traction, and it's Pascal Wehrlein battling away with Oliver Rowland, and Oliver Rowland on the inside for Nissan has got the edge into turn 1. Oliver Rowland leads. Big battle behind Jake Dennis, side by side there with Max Günther, and Günther is trying to take that 3rd place. I think he probably has from Jake Dennis. Remember, this is early stages of the race. You want to try and get into a little bit of clear space, but you don't necessarily want to be pulling away out in front and using too much electrical power. So try and settle in. We've got a freeway battle. Oh my goodness, that's all getting very tight. And this is one of the tight corners where it can go wrong.
Yeah, brilliant move from Jean-Eric Vergne there. He went down the inside of turn 4, round the outside of turn 5, and as the Constantino came in, he made a couple of places there.
Yeah.
Very good start from
right front
Oliver
damage,
Rowland.
Max being Max. Such a nice guy.
Oh. That's interesting. Talking about Max Günther, he says there's damage on his car, potentially, Jake Dennis. So we'll have to see. He's running in 4th place at the moment, with Rowland leading the race from the reigning champion Pascal Wehrlein. Günther is in 3rd place, Dennis in 4th place, Antonio Felix da Costa. But then, as you say, Jean-Eric Vergne has made a very good bit of progress. Dan Ticktum was trying to make a move. Sam Bird's done pretty well because he started a long way back down the grid, but he's moved up into 11th place, so that's a good start.
Green flag is then waved at the back. 36 laps of action about to begin here at the Autodromo Hermanos Rodriguez. Looking forward to action beginning. This is your front row on the right-hand side as Antonio Felix da Costa. 5 red lights are on. It's go in Mexico. Good start from Wehrlein. Great start from da Costa, who immediately tries to chop over on his teammates. Side by side they run down towards the 1st turn. Who gets the position? It's Pascal Wehrlein. And look at Jean-Eric Vergne going around the outside and trying to off onto the grass. There is Mitch Evans. Just about manages to keep it facing in the right direction. And on the straight and narrow, up the inside, we're looking in towards turn 3. Evans on the inside there of the DS Penske. We ride on board here with Oliver Rowland in 4th position at the moment. Down in towards the hairpin section we go, and moves being made there on the outside. That's Jake Dennis trying to have a look on the Nissan, but no way through for him as it all bunches up through there.
Very clean run through there for everybody. Didn't see any front wings going off or anyone really going wide apart from Evans. So a good clean start as they head towards the chicane. Here's Jean-Eric Vergne having a look around the outside of Evans. They give each other a nice bit of room there.
Oh, it is super tight through that chicane as we go down. Mitch Evans making a slight defensive move there as we enter the stadium section here.
Yeah, Günther there losing positions off the start. He was down in about 8th position a couple of corners ago. Into the stadium we go. You can see the fans lining astern around the circuit, but the 2 Tag Heuer Porsches with an absolute dream start. Wehrlein getting a textbook launch away from the lights, and da Costa following him through in towards that 1st corner. You can see there David Beckman just going over the curb, and that's his teammate Dan Ticktum, who's in some strife down at the exit of the stadium section. Plummets down to last position then by the looks of things there for the British driver, so something has gone awry for him. As we come across the timeline though, look at Oliver Rowland making a move here on Jean-Eric Vergne down towards the 1st corner. Side by side we go, Nissan versus DS Penske, and Rowland gets the place. He's up into 3rd. 5 red lights about to come on then. A double header in Jeddah is go. Good start from Maximilian Günther, not bad also from Pascal Wehrlein. He chops over on Oliver Rowland down towards the 1st turn. Look at Mitch Evans on the outside there in the Jaguar. The inside is Oliver Rowland. Günther leads from Wehrlein. Rowland looking for the outside line through turn 2, and problems there for the number 8 of Sam Bird. He's spun round, facing the wrong way, and is right at the back of the field. Up through into turn 4. They are all going 2 by 2. De Vries there on the inside of Jake Hughes, managing to get the better of the Maserati, but a clean start there for the DS Penske, and contact into turn 5. That is the Porsche coming into some strife with Pascal Wehrlein.
Yeah, it was Mitch Evans who ran at the back of him there on the braking for that turn 5 corner. Evans has dropped back a bit, but look, he's got damage to the front left bodywork, and more contact there into the turn 8 chicane.
Yeah, a couple of cars going off into the runoff area down at the bus stop chicane then, so a dramatic start to the race, and the yellow flag as well.
Pascal Wehrlein reporting a rear right puncture, Tom. So Mitch Evans got damage on the front left, but Wehrlein, another title contender, reporting a rear left puncture.
Yeah, remains to be seen whether this will be a safety car or not, whether there's any cars still. There was one car definitely went down the escape road. As you can see, that visible damage to the front wing. It's not stopping him still getting some passes done.
No, he's trying to make hay whilst the sun shines here, isn't he, for Mitch Evans, and into the pit lane then comes Pascal Wehrlein as well.
And he doesn't go in. That's incredible.
So I think what Evans is going to try and do here is, because we've got pit boost, you have to come into the pit lane to make a stop, get an extra boost of energy in this race, but you can make those repairs to the car after that pit boost stop has been made. So maybe he's going to try and wait it out, but the problem is there's smoke pouring off the car.
Damage to the front tyre, and also if that becomes considered by the race stewards potential danger that could fall off the car, they'll black and white flag it.
Yeah, 100%. So that's he's got to stop. I think that the officials will be looking at him. Like I say, Nick Cassidy is well, let's have a look at this replay here. So this was the start.
Evans on the outside here, just going side by side there with Roland. It bottlenecks up into turn 2. That's where Bird gets spun around at the back as well. He manages to get going, but it's further up ahead. This is where it all kicks off. So he just plants himself into the back of Wehrlein. Wehrlein goes off with the puncher, but I wonder if there was secondary contact down at turn 8 there for Mitch Evans, because that front wing damage wasn't caused by that incident there with... so he plants it into the back of De Vries as well.
He's having a smashing start to this race.
Wait then for confirmation of this race beginning to start as the red lights come on. 5 of them now. It's time to send it in Saudi Arabia as the lights go out and we go racing. Good start from Barnard. Great also for Jake Hughes as he chops over and gets the better of Oliver Rowland down towards the first corner. Into turn 1, Hughes into second. Barnard retains the lead. 3 abreast further behind there as well, with Nick De Vries in the middle. Da Costa making some ground on the inside of Enno Mortara. And Mortara shuffled down into 5th position there. Oh, bang on the inside. That's Mats Günther careering into Antonio Felix da Costa down at turn 4.
Yeah, just sent it too hard, not enough grip, and then a clear T-bone. There'll be a penalty for that.
Yeah, Da Costa's caused damage as well. You can see the car crabbing. It's just driving at an angle. So we did say there's going to be more wheel banging. I didn't expect it to happen as early as turn 4, but it just seemed completely over-ambitious there from Günther on the inside.
Yeah, not the first time we've seen incidents on the opening lap. It was a bit of a chaotic start to yesterday's E-Prix, and so it proves to be 24 hours later. The upshot is it's Barnard then that leads now from Jake Hughes. Sam Bird up into 4th place, so he's made some good progress from 7th on the grid. Let's have another look at what happened then down into turn 4. So keep an eye out for a fast entry VS Penske.
Yeah, he completely misjudged with tire temps, everything, and I don't think actually it started out as a pass. It very much was how do I avoid the collision.
Yeah, it's nothing that Da Costa did wrong there.
Great recovery, even though his car's damaged.
Okay, can you tell us a bit more detail?
Front right suspension.
So front right suspension damage then for Max Günther. That's a shame for him, because 24 hours ago he was on top of the world, and unfortunately for him it is not going to be a second victory in succession seemingly, as Da Costa also back in pit lane. And that's another blow for Porsche, because let's be honest, they've had a difficult day at the office. Da Costa was their best hope at a point, maybe a podium finish here this evening, and well, after just 4 corners it's come to an end. Let's see what happens as the 5 red lights come on. It's time for magic in Miami as lights go out and we go racing. Great start from Jake Dennis. Not bad from Norman Nato. Keep an eye out as well for Da Costa on the inside, as well as De Vries looking to try and squeeze Robin Fries down to the first corner. But Nato it is the lead. Are they all going to be facing in the right direction as they come through the first corner? Looks like it was a pretty good start for everybody, at least in the front half of the field. The upshot is, though, it's Nato that still retains the lead. On the inside there is Da Costa against Jake Dennis coming through into turn 4. Dennis has got the inside line. Da Costa holds the line around the outside and gets himself up through in the Tag Heuer Porsche into second.
It looks like Antonio's on a bit of a charge. I'm not sure he wants to be at the front quite yet, but yeah, everyone fanning out 3 wide as they come into turn 6.
Look at the gap to the cars at the back. They're really spaced out. They took it super easy for those first few corners.
I think they know that they're going to have an opportunity to get onto the back of the pack really as this first lap kind of unfolds. And they were super cautious, as you said, through turn 1 and 2.
You can see all these drivers lifting and coasting. We're almost 4 abreast there as Sebastian Buemi looks on the inside of Pascal Wehrlein, who's going to get boxed in a little bit here down at turn 8. This is a crucial overtaking opportunity on the lap, but the problem is you come out of that through turn 9 into this chicane. It's a 1 line through here, but not for Sebastian Buemi, who's looking on the inside. Can he make it stick? It gets pretty close through there, but just about. It's case out of trouble. So a bit of team radio coming through, but Nato it is that still holds the lead. The lap times, and you can see there, De Vries going through, or looking to, on the inside of Da Costa into the final sector, and looking to go through into the lead quite possibly here against Norman Nato. Tries to haul it around the outside. He's got the inside line as we come onto the banking for the first time, and a Mahindra leads the race for the first time in a very long time, as now De Vries is in front, but Da Costa not ready to try and let that come to the fore as he goes into the first corner side by side here with Norman Nato. It's tight through there, but Da Costa's got the inside line, and Nato now relegated back to third. The 5 red lights are about to come on as we wait to see who will be the master in Monaco as the lights go out and we go racing. Roland chops over on Dan Tickton as Barnard leads them down towards the first corner. Look at De Vries on the outside in the Mahindra. Side-by-side action there further back. They go 2 by 2 through Sanderbots, up the rise at Massenet and into Beau Rivage and Casino Square. It's Barnard who leads from pole position at the front of this race.
Track position really important in this race. It's not like some of the other the Formula E tracks we've been to, just big wide open track. You can overtake here, but track position, getting ahead of the opposition will still be critical.
And Taylor Felix Acosta trying to make some ground here from 15th on the grid. That is Nico Miller on his inside. There is Eda Mortara, who is side by side with Max Günther in the DS Penske. On the outside there, Dennis getting friendly with Pascal Wehrlein. It's 3 abreast in the middle of the pack there. Someone's going to come off worse for wear, surely, as they go through down into Portier, and somehow they all manage to retain their front wings. Wehrlein moving ahead of Dennis in all of that melee.
Yeah, surprising actually that they're taking such a risk at this stage of the race. You know, we know this is going to be a slow burn the first few laps, and then the strategy will start to come into play. But I guess the theory is, if they're all bunched up, you can get an easy place, go for it, but it's quite a high risk.
So, Tom, as you were saying before, this is the first time we've got pit boost here. So it's a little bit of the journey into the unknown in terms of the strategy. But I think what we'll see now is a little bit of what we call a banking period. You know,
There's definitely a weird noise coming from my car, mate.
You can kind of hear it, actually.
So maybe a cause for concern already for Roland.
When he's off the throttle pedal on the regen, you can hear it, can't you? Like a rattling.
Yeah.
So sort of quite a harsh rattling noise.
Exactly. Well, we don't actually know what, if any, of the drive parts they had to change other than the suspension.
It is all eyes on the lights. The 5 red lights come on. Who will reign supreme here in Monaco as we go green and go racing? Great start from the front row of the grid for Nick De Vries, but it's Oliver Roland who chops over and gets the lead of the race from pole position, side by side with the 2 DS Penske's up the hill into Sandervont. Everybody taking it quite clean through the first couple of corners, but trying to find grip as we head towards Casino Square.
That was very disciplined, actually, from all drivers, and I think what we've been talking about through and ahead of the race is this is a long game race. You're not going to win it at the first corner, and I think it was actually, look, you accepted where you went off the line, and then just, it's almost like a parade lap through the first corner, because we know that if you go damage your car there, then it's a long afternoon.
Yeah, but it's kicking off here. Look at this round the outside. That is former world champion Jake Dennis having a look at Pascal Wehrlein. They've got a lot of history, those two. And Jake Hughes now alongside Nick Cassidy as well.
Yeah, look at this to the hairpin. This was going to Constantine Rapo able to make it through. One of the Lolas on the inside. That's De Grassi right over the curb on the inside of his teammate. You can see them fishtailing out of the corner as they try to find some grip on this constantly evolving racetrack into the tunnel. This is the only dry part of the circuit.
But De Grassi's gained there. He's gained 2 places, so that worked out really well for him. Dennis and Cassidy were out wide, and De Grassi's gained 2 places. Good move there.
Yeah, Mortara's lost some ground here on the opener as well. He's in 20th place. Muller also down in 21st as well, so not worked out well on the start for them. In towards the New Vel chicane we go, and it's nose-to-tail action between the fields. Side by side there in the background, that's Sam Bird trying to get the better, Robin Price trying to get the better with Taylor Barnard, actually, who's lost a couple of places there on the start as well. But it's Oliver Rowland that leads, and look at the lack of spray already. It's starting to dry out quite quickly. There's a very good possibility we'll get a dry line before the end of this race.
So while it's settled a little bit, let's quickly talk about tactics here, Tom. Every driver's got to take attack mode. What does that do? It gives you an extra 50 kilowatts of power, but in these conditions, crucially, it also gives you 4-wheel drive. And we saw in qualifying, that's worth sometimes up to 6-7 seconds.
I don't know about them on the grid and in the pit box, James, but I'm nervous here in the commentary box.
I'm very excited to see what's going to happen in this turn 1, turn 2, turn 3. It's so tight down there. They're going to be arriving so fast. It's going to be super exciting.
It certainly is then. So there is Jake Dennis right at the back of the field. The green flag is waved at the back. When the checkered flag falls, who is going to be fast and who is going to be furious as we wait for the 5 red lights to come on. And Formula E is go in Tokyo. Oliver Rowland gets a nice start, not bad also from Norman Nato. Look at Mortara chopping over on the Nissan driver, nearly 3 abreast down into the first corner. Who's got the lead? It's Oliver Rowland. Nato is on the outside, Barnard's on the inside of Mortara, and side-by-side action there as Max Günther was really sideways through the first couple of corners. Barnard getting ruffled out there and trying to be challenged by the Nissan of Norman Nato. One of the envisions of Sebastian Buemi goes really wide as they're struggling for grip. Side by side still between Nato and Mortara through into the right-hander. Mortara's going to lose out here and possibly be under threat from Dan Tickton as they come through. And now the 2 envisions also lining astern as well. One of the envisions, I think that was Buemi. Yeah, he's going for attack mode early here, isn't he?
He wants to get into the lead of this race as soon as possible.
There's so many places to be gained where the pack is so close together, so this is the strategy that they opted.
Yeah, so 8 minutes of attack mode for the drivers in this race, and Buemi, Da Costa, as well as Evans are all trying to cycle through the field while it's as bunched up as possible.
Yeah, also, the quicker you can get to the front, the more you can see, better visibility, less chance of a mistake, so it's quite an interesting approach by those guys.
Certainly is. Oliver Rowland, Team Radio.
So Buemi activated, 4 minutes is down to P8. Gap to him,
P6
4 seconds.
So it's 4 seconds. I'm assuming he's saying that's the time he lost.
He's 4 seconds behind at the moment, and we've seen 4 seconds a lap faster in these conditions with the attack mode compared to the standard mode in free practice 2.
Oh, look at him now. He's all over the back of Norman Nato, and it's going to be an easy pass as he comes out of the final corner. 4-wheel drive traction and an extra 50 kilowatts of power. Buemi is up and into 4th place then, ahead of the Nissan. 4-wheel drive traction for the 21 drivers that will be on the grid. Robin Freitz taking right to the back in 22nd position, a vacant space where Mitch Evans' car should have lined up, but for his crash in qualifying. The green flag is waved at the back. It is all eyes on the lights as Formula E takes over in Tokyo. Lights out and we're underway. Away from the start and a good launch there for Oliver Rowland. He chops over on Dan Tickton. Look though at the Porsche of Pascal Wehrlein coming through on the outside. 3 abreast down in towards T1. Tickton trying to firm it around the outside through turn 2. Can he get the better of Wehrlein, or is Wehrlein going to come through? Very close quarters between the 2. Rowland's managed to keep hold of the lead into turn 4. Still side by side we are for 2nd place. And Tickton does manage to stay ahead of Pascal Wehrlein. Tries to challenge for the lead against Oliver Rowland, but the door was very firmly shut.
Taylor Barnard making a great move there down the inside of turn 6.
There's contact in the mid-pack here as well. I think that's one of the DS Penske's who clattered into the back of somebody. Da Costa was definitely in the midst of some contact in the middle of the pack there as well, as we see Norman Nato trying to cycle through against Lucas Di Grassi for 8th position. Through turn 9 we go, down into the braking zone of turns 10 and 11. Rowland it is that leads then. Tickton, then Wehrlein, then Mortara, then Verne. So pretty much as you were at the start of this race, but a lot of action in the mid-pack.
And we saw a lot of good behaviour between Dan Tickton and Pascal Wehrlein. They both had the Porsche powertrain. I'm sure they were both told to behave in that first part of the lap.
Something that's quite hard to control, because obviously Pascal had the opportunity to be inside for turn 2, but they managed really well to drive there together without any contact.
Look at Rowland as well. He is leading this one, and he's trying to build out a bit of a buffer here with the likes of Dan Tickton and Pascal Wehrlein very close behind. This is expected to be an energy-sensitive race, but not one that's a peloton style like we've seen in previous Formula E races. Always eyes on the lights then as the 5 red lights come on. 29 laps of action as we go and send it in Shanghai. Günther gets away well from pole position and chops over on Taylor Barnard, but keep an eye out from behind with Pascal Wehrlein sweeping around the outside and leads into turn 1. Wehrlein with an absolute corker of a start from the 2nd row of the grid, followed by Günther. On the outside there is Nick de Vries trying to challenge, with Cassidy looking for 3rd place against Taylor Barnard. We come down through the left of turn 3. Rowland side by side there with the Mahindra as well as we come on the run down the straight. Cassidy gets a bit shuffled out wide. We head into the right-handed kink of turn 5. 3 abreast down into the braking zone of turn 6. Who's last of the late breakers? On the outside there is Rowland, in the middle is Nick de Vries, on the inside is Taylor Barnard, and shuffled onto the grass almost is Oliver Rowland. He loses track position.
Yeah, and you can see Pascal Wehrlein gave up the lead there to Maximilian Günther. That's exactly what we were saying, he doesn't want to lead, and now both drivers are trying not to lead, and this will create a congestion in the back.
Yeah, the Shanghai International Circuit is much wider than most Formula E tracks, and therefore we're seeing this sort of 2x2 style racing. Look at the stop. It's like a formation lap almost, isn't it? They're running all even through that chicane, and the drivers, I have to say, have behaved superbly on this opening lap. Didn't see any real contact, and we've just finished the first lap of the race.
So safety car now in at the end of lap 7. Rolling start for the drivers as the green flag flies, and racing action will begin with Nick Cassidy kicking off round 11 under racing conditions. We go green then in Shanghai. Cassidy across the timing line, De Costa in second, Verline across the timing line in third place, and De Grassi over the line in fourth position. Of course, the field spread out due to this rolling start. Don't expect any moves down towards the first corner, and you can see already a big difference in gap. Is Cassidy going to go for attack mode in the opening stages? He is straight away, and the two Tag Heuer Porsches following him through. That's the legacy of this rolling start, though. It spreads the field out so you can do it without losing track position.
Well, and also critically, those guys up front, they've got visibility, and this is a chance for them to make hay while the sun shines, use the four-wheel drive, and that, you know, we were saying before, it could make up to 5 seconds a lap difference. Look, the Porsches there, the Costa running quite wide, but most of them, apart from De Grassi, so De Grassi's gone for the offset. He, you know, in that top 10, only De Grassi and Muller who don't have attack mode, so they're going to have an advantage later on.
You can still see, though, struggles with traction for Jake Hughes here, coming out of turn 6 in towards turn 7. This is that long left-hander where we've seen so many drivers struggling. Indeed, De Grassi directly in front of the Maserati, trying to find traction. Through the right-hander we go. And you can see the difference between four-wheel drive and two-wheel drive quite visibly. It's only a matter of time before he's under threat from the Maserati.
And further back, Tom, Evans and Rowland have gone for it as well.
Both car in front, 2 minutes. Both car in front, 2 minutes. All car behind took 4 minutes. Only P9 is on 6 minutes. Good turn.
Yeah, so that's good news for Verline, because he'll need to be a bit patient on this lap, but then he should get more, he'll get another lap to get past De Costa and Cassidy later on. But Evans and Rowland are going to be interesting as De Grassi, without attack mode, trying to defend and unsuccessfully against Jake Hughes.
So the drivers now all in position, 22 of them. So it's going to be a race of patience versus precision, of brains over brawn. Who will be smarter in Jakarta as the 5 lights go out and go racing? As Dennis moves over and holds the lead, but look at Nick de Vries coming through on the inside, Tickton to the outside line there as well, but de Vries from third up into second. Dennis leads the way, and Barnard demoted down into third position off the start. On the inside there is Nick Cassidy getting his elbows out against Dan Tickton through turn 2 and into turn 3. A textbook start though from pole position for Dennis. He holds the lead.
Definitely the biggest winner there. Dan Tickton muscled his way through. Biggest loser was Taylor Barnard. However, he's only dropped 1 place. And I think in reality that was always going to happen. Nick de Vries was able just to slide into that P2. And at the moment it's Jake Dennis out front. Jake's now got to be clean and tidy on this first lap.
Yeah, no doubt about it. So coming through the middle section of the lap down towards turn 13. This is where we've seen so many drivers making mistakes. And look at the dust even online on this circuit. Side-by-side action going on there between De Costa, Van Dorn rather, I should say, and Maximilian Günther down in 13th and 14th place. Rowland, meanwhile, has moved up a couple of positions. He's into 14th from 16th on the grid. Verline, meanwhile, down in 17th. He's only up 1 place into P16 as we come to the end of the first lap. It's a 39 lapper, and who is going to win this one? It's a title decider in Tempelhof as the lights go out and we go racing. Away we go, and a good start from Robin Freins off the start of the front row of the grid. Mitch Evans, though, gets the advantage down towards turn 1. Look at the DS Penske of Maximilian Günther on the outside. Rowland there in the middle. 3 abreast in the mid-pack down into the first corner. But Evans gets the whole shot, gets the advantage, but Jake Dennis is stranded on the grid. So that's a disaster there for Jake Dennis. And now we've got Antonio Felix da Costa in front of Oliver Rowland through turn 3 and 4. Rowland loses a couple of places from where he started.
Yeah, I mean, a tricky start there for the championship leader, down into 5th place, and we have got that yellow flag, which is more than likely going to be for Jake Dennis there, because he didn't get off the line.
Oh, a bit of argy-bargy going on into the hairpin bend there as well, with one of the McLarens and a safety car out. So Dennis has not been able to get the car going. It is still stranded on the grid. That neutralises the race already, and is going to change the complexion of it. Van Dorn's gone down the order, but what happened
Attention
to
everyone,
Jake
this
Dennis?
is the car at the driver left-hand side. We dispatch safety car. Please follow the safety car through the main straight. Thank you very much.
So the race now neutralised then at the end of the first lap. Drivers will follow the Porsche safety car until this is cleared. But unfortunately for Jake Dennis, he is out of the race. Well, he's just been able to get going, so I wonder if he might be able to tag on to the back. The safety car might save his blushes a bit, actually.
Well, he's not going to be a lap behind. That's the important thing. So therefore, for his point of view, he'll now be able to go down. The question is why. Looks like he's done a Control-Alt-Delete and reset the system, because the car didn't even move a millimetre from his starting point when he went back onto the throttle. But now he's definitely at the back. One other big loser out of this was Taylor Barnard. He got sort of squashed a little bit, a big sideways moment into turn 1 and dropped down to 13th.
As we said, it's going to be a high-energy, intensity pack race here in Germany as the 22 drivers are lined up on the grid. The green flag will be waved at the back as the 5 red lights are about to come on. Who will win in Berlin as the lights go out? And we go racing. Good start from Berlin. Nice one from Ticktum off the front row of the grid as well. Look at Robin Fries coming through. On De Costa down towards the first corner, side by side with Berlin and Ticktum. Who leads into turn 2? Ticktum's got the inside line, but Berlin holds it around the outside. De Costa up into third as well against Robin Fries. So he's up into P3. On the outside there is Nico Müller in the Andretti looking to get the better and right through to the right-hander, but Berlin is the leads.
Yes, a solid start so far for the championship contender, Pascal Wehrlein there, all kind of being fairly calm and relaxed on this first couple of laps. We think this is going to be an energy-efficient race, which is why I don't think anyone's really going too gung-ho at the start.
Roland's made a place up from where he started, 7th on the grid. Oh, blimey, look at that on the inside there as well. That is Taylor Barnard making some moves going down into the hairpin of turn 9.
Too soon, didn't I, Tom? Spoke too soon. He said he was going to be aggressive, though, Taylor. He said it, even though he is in the championship fight, third in the championship is Taylr Barnard. He did say he would be aggressive, and he's gone past 2 of them there in the last corner.
2 for the price of 1 then for Taylor Barnard. He's now up behind Dan Ticktum. Barnard through into 3rd after starting in 7th on the grid. Roland still sits in P7 as we come to the end of the first lap.
Our pole sitter got his car angled right to cover off the inside line on the run to the first corner.
Red lights coming on then, 5 of them now. Who will revel in the XL as the lights go out and we go racing? Good start from Evans. De Vries chops over on Wehrlein down towards the first corner. Who gets the lead into turn 1? It will be the pole sitter then of Mitch Evans, who's got the whole shot from Nick De Vries, and contact there in the mid-pack. That's Max Günther facing the wall on the outside, and it's also cost one of the Maseratis there. I think that might be Stoffel Van Dorn who's in some bother in the first couple of corners, but as we burst into the daylight for the first time, and contact there further as well, Mortara, and you can see front suspension damage for Maximilian Günther. Jay Penske's not going to be happy with that. We could have a safety car and a car pile up here as well.
Both McLarens.
Yeah, both the Neil McLarens involved, so Sam Bird as well as Taylor Barnard. Barnard being the first of those involved, and you can see the DS Penske, sorry, the Lola of Zane Maloney trying to find reverse gear there and get it righted. Whether that car can get going again, I think is probably a case of not, and we probably will get a safety car as a result of that.
I don't understand why Günther didn't go straight on. Clearly he had suspension damage there. He didn't do the right thing by trying to stay on the racetrack. The safety car has been deployed, predictably. But, yeah, we'll get a replay of the incident. They made contact at turn 1, I noticed, Mortara and Günther. And then that seemed to sort of enrage them, perhaps, and carried on to turn 4.
Yeah, it was Hughes, the Maserati, that was actually involved in that first corner. We saw one of them dropping back, and it was Jake Hughes, unfortunately. So not a great start to life in this weekend in his home race.
It's not exactly race 1, is it? By this stage of the year, they shouldn't be making mistakes like that.
Yeah, it's a tricky circuit, this one. We always know it bottlenecks up down towards that first corner, and incidents pretty likely, but safety car on the opening lap is not what the drivers would have been expecting, and now there'll be furious recalculations going on in the pit box and back at base to adjust for the pit boost strategies. Let's have a look at what happened then. So you can see Günther, he's already got suspension damage then after contact. Jake Hughes is the Maserati that's dropping back in the mid-pack, and then we need to keep an eye on Günther in the middle here as well, because he has contact with Mortara, so that's where the suspension got broken. Mortara shoves Günther into the wall on the outside.
I don't know if he shoved him or there wasn't actually room.
Space, was it?
Yeah. And this is where, you know, Günther's tried to turn left to come around the corner with no steering. At that point, you know, there's an escape there where he could have safely parked out of the way, and he's effectively created this traffic jam off the 2 McLarens and the Lola.
Let's have a look here at Jake Hughes. He's the 55 in the background, right behind Günther. Does he have a bit of contact here? Because we saw him slowing, and Yeah, he just went briefly into the back of him there. He's now in the pit lane here, is Jake Hughes.
Yeah, he went wheel to wheel.
With his teammate, didn't he?
Yeah.
It was Van Dorn on his inside.
Yeah, just racing incident.
And we were about to see Gunther get a face full of wall. There it is. Crunch of carbon fibre. And then we get a traffic jam down at turn 6 to boot as well.
I think he was trying to be optimistic and keep the car on the outside, even though he was slightly behind, on the hope they then have the line as you run down to the next corner.
So this is Barnard's view of it all unfolding. He just had nowhere to go. Just about manages to avoid contact, but then gets a whack up the rear from Zane Maloney in the Lola. Certainly will do. There is Oliver Olin, peaked out on the grid. 5 red lights are on. It's time for the conundrum in London as we go green and go racing. Good start then from Cassidy, but even better from Gunther on the inside of the front row. Here they go to the outside line in towards turn 1. Cassidy gets the whole shot, so it's the two Jaguars first and third as there's a crunch of carbon fibre in the middle. Stoffel Van Dorn in some dramas as we come through turns 3, 4 and 5, and we'll burst into the daylight for the first time. De Vries having a look on the inside. Ticktum is on the outside of Van Dorn for 5th position there as well. Now switches to the inside lines. We come into the bottleneck section and they're all threading the eye of a needle through there, but amazingly, unlike yesterday, they've all made it pretty cleanly through.
It all seemed actually pretty slow after the first corner and a bit early for wanting to save the energy there, but anyway, it was, as we predicted, a little bit more challenging on the run to the first corner.
Mortara's in some dramas. He's dropped down to 22nd and looks to be out of the final race of the season. We saw his name dropping down the timing tower, and from 8th on the grid, it is going to be an unhappy end to the Swiss driver's race. Clearly, he was caught up in some first corner dramas. Through turn 16 we go. Now we're expecting this to be a very energy sensitive race. Drivers lifting and coasting, backing off, trying to save energy for the right points in the race, Karan.
Yeah, and you can see at this early stage, as David said, you know, it looks like already Cassidy's just back in the pack up. There's two cars there side by side. Didn't quite see, was it Roland and Van Dorn? Yeah, Roland's got ahead of him there at the final corner, as Nato's now having a look at Van Dorn as well on the run to turn 1. So the two Nissans making a bit of progress now. They've moved up